You know what? I have to go and actually do a complaint about the whole main character guy. I don't know what it is with the whole smoking and being a badass, but quite literally, he had started smoking. Either he had a cigarette in his mouth, or was lighting up a cigarette in every other scene. And in every other scene is about close to like 11, 12 times he's sitting there smoking cigarettes, and he's always sitting there chilling with some kind of cigarette in his mouth. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? You know? I mean, he's sitting there lighting up a cigarette, and he just sits there with a cigarette in his mouth while he's sitting there shooting zombies. He goes and sits there, he shoots a zombie, he puts a cigarette in his mouth. He shoots another zombie, he lights it up. Then he goes and sits there and starts talking to some woman. Oh, I got a gun. I'm sitting here smoking a cigarette. What the fuck?
Oh, what? Oh, well, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet you will, you little bitch.
Yep.
Anyway, in the overalls, I have to go and basically give the whole casting and everything.
Let's go over the fear, thrill, scare, and horror and the gore of the movie.
Oh, we will, but I'm basically telling you right now that my whole thing about the casting, I'm giving it a fucking 4.
I'm gonna have to. I got a 5 here. Actually, I got a 4. I wrote 4 down. All right.
So there we go.
I'm just saying. I thought the main character was. I liked him. I liked him. I mean, yeah, he could have. I liked who he was, but they could have wrote him in better. They could have gave him better lines. They could have gave everybody better lines. It was just. It seems like it was too quickly made.
Right.
And it wasn't.
They didn't actually did a real casting job by the looks of it. It's more like they just grabbed whoever they could find and say, hey, guess what, you're a zombie. Hey, guess what, you're the badass. Hey, you're some lesbian chick. You're gonna be the guy who gets shot and laughs about it. So yeah, for casting, we give it a fucking 4. As for music, I have to definitely give it a 9. I was very impressed with the music. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't under so much that you couldn't really hear it. So I definitely give it a 9. Plus, the music wasn't that bad for it.
No, it was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I mean, it wasn't like da-da-da-da-da-da when there's like zombies coming around. It was more like downplays. That way, like you can feel that they're starting to creep up. I mean, from what I've been told by a lot of people, music goes and creates about close to 50% of a movie. And if you get a proper amount of music at the right levels and everything, then yeah, you're gonna have a good movie. I mean, but. Yeah, I have to give it a 9.
Yeah. 9 sounds good.
Now let's talk about how much of a fear factor this movie is. I give it a 0.
0.
Because there was nothing really goes and gives you any kind of fear to it. It's just
fear and thriller, like hand in hand. There was nothing. You weren't like, oh man, what's gonna happen next? You're just watching. You're just like zoned out watching the movie.
Right.
I mean, just going through the motion. It was no like, oh, what's that? Oh man, what's gonna happen next? Nothing. Right. Because it was lame.
So you know what? For fear and thriller, we give it a 0.
Big fat goose egg.
Now as for being scared, I pretty much give it a 0.
I put a 1 because there was one thing that got me. You know, in every horror film, there's that one random thing, like a random animal that'll just like pop out of nowhere, like such. Well, this part right here, a bird just there's a bird eye view, and they're panned over it, and they're just looking down at him, and a crow flies by. It made me jump because it was funny.
The most simplest way to go and put it was called a cheap shot. And the cheap shot is basically the one little thing that just pops out of nowhere for no reason to scare you. And that's it. It just happens in a flash. It has absolutely nothing to do with the movie. It just happens, just going blood. So, I give it a 0. As for the horror of it, I give it a 0.
Also got a 0 on that too. It was not really horrifying whatsoever.
Right, it wasn't really bloody, it wasn't really gruesome. It was just stupid.
Yeah, it was definitely a B-rate movie.
B, I give it a C.
Yeah? I mean, just for the, it's Romero's movie, I'm going to give it a B. I mean, I still like the guy. I still like his movies. I mean, I'll watch it again, but I'm not going to go, I'll wait until he buys it and I'll just borrow it from him.
I ain't buying it.
He'll buy it. Anyway, so let's continue.
As for the time of the movie,
It was 90 minutes. It was 90 minutes long, and I think that was. I think personally, 90-minute movie. It's a decent sized movie. It's not too long, not too short.
right, if it was longer, we would definitely be more pissed off about it because it would have been just lame as hell. It would be something that was just dragging on. It's like taking a turd and dragging it across the cement. It's just, no matter what, it's still a turd. It's just longer now. But thankfully, it wasn't too short where you couldn't understand what was going on or really understand what was the whole story or the purpose of it. But so thankfully, yes, because it had the right amount of time, they basically had the right amount of time for it.
Yeah, it was good timing.
Give it a proper amount of character development and basically for the storyline. Otherwise, if it was too long, it would be just pretty much shit.
Yep.
As for enjoyment of the whole movie, I thought it was just okay. I mean,
Okay. Same here.
I wasn't really all hyped up about it. I wasn't really depressed about it. I wasn't like, oh, God, just shoot me now. Or I wasn't like, okay, I want to watch this again and again for like 3 days in a row. I mean, it was just okay.
Yeah, completely agree. Just okay. It's an okay movie.
The opening, I actually have to say, was not that bad.
I thought it was pretty cool. It was alright.
I mean, for the first 20 minutes of it, you were basically able to keep up with it. It seemed like really serious, like it had that really good George Romero feeling to it. It basically showed some parts from the original of the Diary of the Dead, and then all of a sudden it just started going downhill, and basically at the ending, I'm sitting there like, what the fuck?
Yeah, same here, man. Same here. Completely agree.
I mean, towards the end, it was the most screwed up thing I have ever seen. I'm sitting there scratching my head going, what the hell is this shit? But at the beginning of it, I was like, all right, this is awesome, this is cool. It's like a whole new Dawn of the Dead or Diary of the Dead, you know, the Land of the Dead even. I mean, I thought it was going to be awesome. And then 20 minutes into it, it goes completely Comedy Central shit, and then you're sitting there like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Fact.
So, right now we're going to go and do the overall of how we feel about the movie. Me, I say wait until it comes out in Redbox, if you have a Redbox near you, which is basically $1 for a movie, or otherwise just rent it.
Yeah, I wouldn't rent it. I wouldn't recommend renting it. Just Redbox it. Wait for that $1. Now, if you're like me and you're trying to collect zombie movies, I'm gonna buy it just because I like having a zombie collection of movies. And if you're a Romero fan, you need it. It's part of the collection. Go out and get it.